You could hardly get two careers more different than being in the military and being an interior designer. But that's exactly the move that today's guest, Becks Lewis-Knight, made when she decided to leave the military and become an interior designer. Let's hear her story. Welcome to the Hubcast, brought to you by the Interior Designers Hub, where we help and support interior designers to get trained, get into the industry, and to grow wildly successful businesses. If you want to work in the field you love, create the lifestyle you desire, and make the money you truly deserve, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Kate Hatherall. Let's get into it. I am so excited this morning to be talking to Becks Lewis-Knight. Good morning, Becks. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you, Kate. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on our Hubcast today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited about it.
Amazing. So, Becks, tell us a little bit about you and your business. Where are you based? What sort of design do you do?
Sure. So I'm Becks, and I am the founder and director of Ivy Rose Interiors. Ivy Rose is my middle name, so I thought that was a nice sort of name to allocate to my business. And I'm based in Birmingham, so I cover mostly around the Midlands area, over to Worcester and Malvern as well.
Amazing. And what types of design do you do? Do you work in commercial, residential, or across the board?
Both, actually. I really try to do more of the commercial work because I love big stories and big concepts, and I love really getting to the heart of someone's brand. So if they've opened up a restaurant, I love to really kind of make that immersive environment, really kind of explore the food that they're creating.
Amazing.
But I do some high-end residential as well. I'm doing a fantastic project over in Portugal at the moment in a very nice villa. So it's quite varied, my portfolio. It's more about the people that I work with than the types of projects, I guess.
That does sound amazing. And to be working internationally as well must be quite exciting.
It is, yeah. It's a learning curve for me. But yeah, really, really good. And I've got lots of support from the hub, which is really helpful to lean on. But yeah, really exciting. It's opened up a whole world of new suppliers to explore.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's fun.
Absolutely. So, Becks, have you always been an interior designer, or was there kind of life before interior design?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, I haven't always been an interior designer, and much to the surprise of many people I meet, I did trauma surgery in the Royal Air Force for 10 years prior to starting my business.
Wow, so that's quite some change.
Yeah, not the most direct route into interior design, but if you ask me, have I always been a creative, I would say absolutely. So when I was always creating at school, I did A-levels in art and design and history, which all kind of really just floated my boat. I went to university and studied textile design after an art foundation degree, and then I just lost all my confidence and joined the military. That seemed like the sensible thing to do. My mum was a nurse and my dad was also serving in the Air Force. So yeah, I just sort of got really nervous, lost all kind of a little bit of zeal for design. I was a bit strung out by then, I think.
Yeah.
So I ran away, joined the military, learned loads of life skills, and then towards the end of my service, I started to think, no, I really do want to be a designer.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Went to university, and that was all through the lockdown. So
amazing.
That wasn't quite the experience I was expecting either.
No, absolutely. So was it kind of a feeling that at that time that going to the military was kind of something that felt more familiar to you? If, you know, your mum was doing the nursing side, your dad was in the military, so it was something that felt kind of comfortable for you?
Yeah, I think so. And there was kind of that, I felt like I'd made a lot of decisions, and I thought, joining the military, someone will tell me what to wear, how to have my hair. You know, I'll get some real experience. It'll be a whole new I'm somebody that always sort of throws myself into a challenge and sort of say yes and figure it out later. And I think that's part of who I am.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of friends that were serving. At that point, everybody was deploying to Iraq, and I felt a bit indulgent, really, to be designing beautiful fabrics and things. And yeah, I just sort of went to the careers office, and they said, oh, would you like to go back to university? And I thought, oh yeah, great. If you're going to pay me to go to university, I'll do that. And I've made the most amazing friends. I've had the most incredible experiences, and it's really helped me to understand lots and lots of people, from the very young to the very old, which I really think helps inform design, particularly in the commercial environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I'm seeing, as I kind of record more of these hubcasts as well, is that a lot of people come to interior design after having done other things in their lives. And in fact, the experiences that they've got from doing those other things actually just enhance what they do now. And those skills are always transferable, no matter kind of how diverse they are from interior design.
Absolutely, because I think, whatever environment you work in before, you understand the importance of that environment, and it really impacts how you feel. I've seen that from a patient recovery sort of perspective, living in a tent in Helmand Province. Where you are affects how you feel, and I think if you're in a job that maybe stretches some of those emotions, you kind of want to come back to yourself and start to think about those skills and another way that you can help people. I think a lot of designers come from helping kind of fields, if you like, and we can really use those skills to spread our love and joy and creativity in another way. And interior design specifically, really brings all of those things together. It's all about people, isn't it?
I love that so much. And I love the idea of you being in a tent in Helmand and thinking about interiors even in that environment. That's amazing.
I can assure you, everybody knew which little part of the tent was mine. I had sort of fairy-like chandeliers and my silk sheets. You don't have, any pool can be uncomfortable. So yeah,
that's brilliant. Love it. Nice. I've got that great picture in my head now. I can just see it. So obviously you're in the military and you've got this sort of creative background, and you've taken this departure to doing something, very valuable, very practical as well, healing people. At what point did you kind of feel that shift that you wanted to move back to, sort of creating those more perhaps creative or more visually creative things?
I think it was always there. So all throughout my service, I was sort of enrolled in kind of evening photography courses or jewellery. I make a lot of my own silver jewellery, doing glass, and I love gifting. I'm a big gifter, so everyone I know and love gets handmade gifts, whether they like it or not. But for me, it's putting that love into something. So obviously working in the hospital is very challenging. And after a couple of deployments, it started to affect my kind of mental health, really. Mm-hmm. And I realised I wasn't having the opportunity to create, and that's really integral to my happiness and my well-being. And I spent so long giving and giving. I thought, well, I need to find a more healthy, sustainable way of doing this. And I thought, yeah, really, it's really nuts to give up my career, 2 careers simultaneously. When I left the military, I still worked clinically for a little while, and then went to university and sort of tried to do the 2 together. And I thought, there's not enough time. I need to close that door and jump into this. So I think it was a kind of organic realization, really, of what is right for me and how I can help the world in a different way that's healthy for me also.
Absolutely.
That answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you made that switch and when you decided to close the door on your clinical work and kind of go all in interior design, that must have been quite a scary moment to sort of, close the door on your past almost and step sort of into the unknown.
It really was. And that sort of really coincided with 2 significant events, one which affected all of us. So COVID, the advent of COVID meant I felt very... really conflicted, actually, because obviously I had all these skills that were really valuable and really needed in the hospital, but I was kind of I was a good 6 months into my degree, and I condensed my degree into 2 years, so it was massively intensive for me. And that all then, the face-to-face teaching stopped, so I was doing it remotely, and I just really needed all of that focus to be able to do this. It wasn't just going to university for something to do. This was a life-changing, career-changing commitment. So that really... just sort of cemented the idea that as conflicted as I was committed to my new career, and I needed to close the door in the hospital. And at the same time, my granddad became quite poorly, and I thought, I don't want to be going in and out of the hospital and sort of being able to look after him as well. So the decision kind of was facilitated for me by external circumstances, but I'm very grateful for those things. So yeah, it wasn't just wake up one day. It was kind of just layers and layers of reasons that were nudging me. I'm very sort of spiritual, and I think the universe was giving me the nudge I needed to do what I need to do with my life.
Absolutely. And looking back over that period of time. Do you feel that, it was absolutely the right thing to do?
Yes, I do. It's scary, and giving up a salary as well. That's been tricky for me. Changing my sort of lifestyle to facilitate that. But 100%, and it's, I felt a little bit anxious about telling the people that I know and love, like I'm actually gonna leave. And a lot of those people are still working in the hospital, my really good friends, and I felt terrible, and they were like, of course you should be doing this. You should have been doing this since you were born. So, the
Oh,
more people you start to sort of say it out loud and everyone's supporting you, you think, oh, it's me that's late to the party, not everyone else.
Yeah. And, I hear that so much as well, that, there are so many people that are so afraid of telling people, right, I'm making this change. And, this is completely different to what I did before. But actually, everybody else around them goes like, duh, yeah, you should have been doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly
that.
Yep.
And I suppose it's that isolation. I've always worked in really big, really efficient, really capable teams, and you've got loads of people to lean on. And really, that's what pulled me to finding you in the hub. It was that community, and I had really no links at all in design whatsoever. So I was craving that kind of support and the mindset, and realizing, oh, there's loads of people like me that do this.
Yeah.
It's not completely ballistic,
Absolutely. And, there is a huge network of freelancers out there. But like you say, if you're not kind of working for an organization, especially if you're used to working with a really big organization, all of a sudden you can feel really lonely. And as you say, that is one of the nice things about the hub, is that it brings people together in that way. So kind of making the transition as you did, were there any things that held you back? Anything that made you think, I can't do this, this isn't for me?
I think it was a lot of the computer stuff, which sounds mental, doesn't it, really?
No.
But my first day of university, I've been working with my hands. I work in an operating theatre. I work with people. I handwrite my notes. I hadn't really done anything on a computer. And I remember sitting in front of this beautiful Mac, and this young lad called Will was sat next to me. And I said to him, Will, can you help me turn this computer on? And he looked at me as if, I just dropped off the moon, but he was ever so kind. And, I was going back to university. I was 35, I think, when I started. So I was quite mature compared to a lot of the guys on the course. And I really had to sort of lean on them. And there were some definite mindset gremlins about that. And that was a really steep learning curve. And, admittedly, I do sort of accept that that's not my strongest, most efficient skill.
Yep.
So I do outsource some of those things now, which is brilliant. You don't have to do it all on your own. But that certainly was a mindset gremlin for me, and also something I didn't enjoy. It really stressed me out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very tactile.
Yeah, and if things aren't for you, the technical drawing aspects or something, as you say, you can just outsource it, and you don't have to do it all. And it's about playing to your strength, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's just leaning on those past experiences. I wasn't doing the operation on my own. I wasn't doing the anaesthetic on my own. You're part of a team, and it's sort of being able to build those relationships and those trusting sort of collaborations are really helpful. And it doesn't have to feel so lonely and scary, because actually some people love that side of things, and it really complements the overall outcome for your client, which is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you can work with other people on different aspects of projects. And, I know in the hub, in the one of the podcasts that we did previously, we were talking with Alessandra, and she was talking about the different people that she's collaborated with. And so you don't have to kind of go it alone. And there is a whole community of people out there that you can lean on and you can work with together. So those are kind of the things that held you back then. So those things that sort of stopped you from getting going. What sorts of things helped you to get you to where you are?
I think, again, being part of a team, I was always sort of leading teams before. So that worked really well at university. I had we entered quite a lot of competitions. Actually, one was for the BIID, which we won, which was absolutely incredible. I had a team of 6 ladies. It was like International Women's Week at the same time, and being able to bring people together. I know that's a skill I'm really good at, so that's really helped me. That helps me in my business now, sort of bringing certain tradespeople together and coordinating timelines. Having strict sort of that process, I suppose, is really helpful. Also, I care less about making mistakes in regards to, when you're designing and drawing. I used to be very sort of secretive when I was drawing in art classes before, but now I'm quite happy to just be really expressive and playful. I was paying a lot of money and giving up a lot to go back to university, so I really wanted to be playful there and learn new skills. So that really informed some really creative sort of design thinking.
Amazing. And how did you make that shift? Was it just, right, I'm going to throw myself in and go all in here?
I think so. Mentally, yeah. I was excited. I got my new pencil case, that sort of thing. And really had brilliant support from my lecturers. I was older than two of them. So there was, a sort of strange dynamic. I know it's just a number, but it did feel quite strange. And I think just really leaning on people and their experiences and being able to sort of pinpoint, I suppose, and support other junior designers, sort of say, you've got a great skill here. Why don't you do more of that? That's really good. And sort of end up nurturing people as well, because I think that's just inherently part of my character. But I think that really helped to kind of get a really fun, kind of creative atmosphere flowing, and not throwing away the rule, but thinking much more. I'm much more of an artist really at heart than a sort of technical person. So that really brings some nice dynamic to team projects.
Absolutely. And I think, interior design is a really human-centric thing as well. And it is about people, although it feels as though it's about things, it is about people and people's experiences of their space.
Definitely. And I think, sort of talking through those journeys, if you like, into a space, I very much spend a lot of time with my eyes closed, imagining where do I put the light switch on, where will I want to put my coat, kind of going through that journey. And, when you work in a big hospital, for example, if you're waiting for news and, the sound of someone's footsteps coming down the corridor, it can be massively, stressful for somebody to hear. So I really like to kind of think about how it will feel in all the senses within a space. And that's something I really try to continue through all of my designs, whether it's a lounge refresh or whether it's a huge sort of hotel. It's really thinking about how that experience will feel for lots of different people that will use that space.
I love that. And again, we see that kind of, that previous career that feels so unrelated to what you're doing now actually has huge relevance and has brought, ideas and experiences that you can still use today in a completely different career. So,
yeah, I think it.
So in terms of, what you do now, obviously you've got a wonderful business, it's up and running, you're kind of living the dream, as it were. Did you find it very easy to set up your own business? Was it something that you did kind of straight away out of university, or was it something that you were less sure about how to do?
Well, I'm quite spoilt because my other half is a quite successful businessman. So he's an accountant. So he sort of sorted out a lot of the technical sort of, getting registered with Companies House, all of that sort of thing. And actually that happened on the first day we came home from university, because I'd sort of been musing some ideas for the company name. And I said, I think I want to call it Ivy Rose Interiors. So we sort of accelerated the important parts, if you like, just to secure my domain name and this and that and the other. Didn't really do much with them for a while, but at least got them registered. And then I was busy studying. Clients were sort of coming to me, friends and family, that sort of thing. So that started to sort of swell the portfolio. Did a bit of pro bono work, again, while I was studying, for some small cafes and restaurants locally. But yeah, now it's kind of really starting to get serious. You think, this is a serious business now. I need the next level and I need more support. And it's scary. It's really scary, really exciting. You wake up every day and you're like, okay, I'm the boss.
Yeah,
what do I do?
Absolutely.
So I think going back to, again, old habits, having a process. Every Sunday night, I like to sort of plan out my week. There's some gaps in there, but this needs to be done, appointments, schedules, and just getting better and better at being efficient and not afraid to outsource, I think, is really key to surviving.
Yeah, absolutely. Leaning on the other people that are around you, just like you did when you were in the operating theatre. It's, different environment, but same thing.
It really is. And, there's always so many people that are willing to help you. The hub is absolutely brilliant for just a quick sort of, am I being crazy? Is this sensible? Is this not? Where can I find something like this? I spent 5 hours looking for a lampshade, help me. It's really grounding, isn't it? To just sort of chat through people who understand why it's really important that that lampshade fits and works and is the right tone. So yeah, leaning on people like that. I've been involved a lot with my local Chamber of Commerce. That's great as well from a more commercial point of view, setting up those networks and building those relationships and letting people know who you are and what you do is really where I'm at with my business right now. It's that kind of like, elevated brand awareness, I guess, in some respects.
Absolutely. And it is all about, getting out there, getting visible, getting people to know that you exist. And then, the work comes rolling in, and word of mouth as well, is massive, for bringing work in as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really helpful point, actually. And just to touch on one of your previous questions, Kate, I moved to Birmingham literally just before I started university, and then obviously we had the lockdown. So I have no network here. I didn't go to school here. I didn't grow up here. Don't really have any colleagues here. So that's been a real challenge for me. So I've really had to get outside, and meet people and get to know people. And that's, it's hard work and it takes a lot of commitment. And sometimes you haven't got all the energy to sort of go out and be really vivacious and excited, but it's critical. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can sort of learn that, and it gets less and less scary the more you do it.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And okay, one kind of last question then. If you could kind of be transported back in time and give some advice to your younger self, what would you tell her?
Oh, I would tell her that you can do it, and you are creative, and you are amazing, and you are meant to be doing this. And yes, things are scary and you don't always know how it's going to work out, but just be playful, be excited, love what you do, and the rest will just sort of fall into place.
Absolutely. What great advice. I love it. Alrighty. Before you go, Becks, would you be happy to play a game of designer this or that?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yay, love a game. Okay, so we've got 1 minute on the clock. I'm going to give you 2 different options and you just kind of quick fire. You have to select one or the other. Don't overthink it. Just go with it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay,
ready.
Let's do this. Brand paints or colour matched?
Colour matched.
Fall plants or real plants?
Real plants.
Linen or velvet?
Linen.
Glam or rustic?
Rustic.
Art deco or pop art?
Deco.
Changing rooms or interior design masters?
Oh, interior design masters.
Floral or plain?
Plain.
Farrow and Ball or Dulux?
Dulux.
Carpet or hard flooring?
All hard flooring all the way.
Brushed chrome or shiny chrome?
Brushed.
Maximalist or minimalist?
Maximalist.
Spots or stripes?
Stripes.
Neutral or colourful?
Oh, that's hard. Neutral.
Blinds or curtains?
Blind.
Formal or casual? Casual. Geometric or botanical?
Oh, geometric.
And we are out of time. Amazing. Whew, you survived it.
That was a bit intense. I'd probably do my answers completely differently if you did it again.
It's a bit stressful, isn't it, being put under the spotlight like that?
No, it's brilliant. I love it. I need that sometimes. I need that pressure to perform. Thank you.
Absolutely. Amazing. Oh, Becks, it's been so nice hearing your journey from working in the military into interior design. I think probably one of the biggest changes that we've heard of so far on the Hubcast. But we really appreciate you giving up your time today. Thank you so much.
It's been a lot of fun, Kate. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for tuning into Hubcast by the Interior Designers Hub. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please take a screenshot and share it to Facebook, Instagram, or your favourite social media channel. Make sure to tag me in at Interior Designers Hub and let me know what you enjoyed about this episode. I reply to each and every comment. I'd also like to offer you an incredible free gift, which is going to show you the exact roadmap that you need to take to become a wildly successful interior designer. It shares our secrets to business success. If you'd like to get your hands on that, head on over to interiordesignershub.co.uk/roadmap right now. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.